AI was a word I didn't know existed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Today, I don't think it's going away anywhere.
We're trying to improve the travel rate of people that purchased open-dated vacation packages. That's a very specific use case. How can AI help? Well, right now we're sending emails and we're calling people and we're sending text messages trying to get them to book their vacation packages. Imagine if you could have, because of AI, 10,000 autonomous one-to-one conversations, concierge style, helping all those people book those vacation packages at the same time.
It's amazing.
That's where we are.
How did it balance automation with human connection? So where's that balance?
The AI understands the objective and in a better than human way drives the user to that action. So what Comment Responder does, it responds to the comment in real time with objective-driven purpose. And by objective-driven purpose, what I mean is
This episode is brought to you by Hamakampai, the first vacation ownership project on the northern coast of Ecuador. Hi everyone, I'm Gaetan Babin, and welcome to Voices of Vacation Ownership. It's the podcast where we speak with leaders that are shaping the future of our industry. Now, each episode focuses on ideas that help strengthen performance, partnerships, and the owner experience. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Jason Tremblay. Jason is a serial entrepreneur, MarTech, innovator, and CEO of One Agency and Conversion IQ AI. Jason has managed hundreds of millions in digital ad spent and has built proprietary AI systems designed to handle customer engagement at scale. In an industry like vacation ownership, where marketing drives volume, engagement drives trust, and reputation drives growth, digital chaos is a real challenge. So social comments, fragmented conversations, rising acquisition costs. So today we're going to explore how AI can bring clarity, structure, and scalability to customers' engagement. Jason, thank you for your time and welcome to our podcast.
Well, it's really cool to be here. I always love any time I can spend with you, Gaetan. And we've had so many deep conversations about the industry and where everything's going over the years. So it's a total pleasure to be here.
Well, our relationship goes way beyond business. I think we became really good friends. I've always known you as the best dressed man in the industry, so I try to put a little bit of
to you.
little color to try to match up.
Second to you.
That's right. But I very much value our friendship, and I value the contribution that you've done in the industry. You've been in the industry now for a few decades, I believe.
Well, you know, it's funny. I first got started in 2003. So how many decades is that? Just a couple, I guess.
23 years.
Yeah, 2003. 2003. My mom had a terrible experience with a fraudulent resale company. That gave birth to Sell My Timeshare Now because I knew resale could be done better. I sold that company a long time ago, as you know, back in 2012, I guess. So what is that now, 14 years ago?
Yep.
And Brooke and I started an agency, and we kind of switched sides. We now work for the developers, and I'm just super, super passionate about our industry, about our best days are absolutely ahead of us, but most of that passion and most of that belief about and optimism is because of the technology and everything that's available to us now. That was not available even a couple of years ago.
Well, if I was going to come up with a word to describe you, it would have to be the word passion. So when you're engaged, you're passionate. And I feel that when AI became part of the technology, AI was a word I didn't know existed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Today, I don't think it's going away anywhere.
No. So, you know, it's funny because so ConversionIQ.ai is our AI company, but I want you to know we didn't create a company in the spirit of like, oh, everybody's doing AI, let's create an AI company. That's not actually what happened. What happened is our agency, we work for a lot of major developers in the industry. And a big part of what we do for most of our clients is we generate online mini vacation sales. We do a lot of online marketing for some of the biggest developers in the world. And the challenge is when a consumer is looking at, let's say it's a mini vac ad. Let's say it's go to Orlando for $99, get 3 nights. That creates a lot of skepticism. That creates a lot of like, oh, this can't be real, or this is too good to be true. And what would happen is a lot of our advertising is on social media because those are the highest engagement channels. So we spend millions and millions of dollars every month on Meta and other platforms too, but probably we spend more money on Facebook, Instagram than anything else. And so that would generate just our ads would just get a lot of comments like, this deal must be too good to be true. Or in some cases, this is a scam. Or, timeshare is a trap, don't fall for it. Really nasty comments. And if we didn't address those comments, that had a pretty significant impact negatively on the cost to acquire a customer. Or basically, our developers just call that the cost per package.
Yep.
So several years ago, back when my son was 16 years old and wanted a part-time job, I said to Tyler, I need you to start responding to these social media comments, because if we don't, our developers aren't doing it, our clients aren't doing it, we need to do it so we can get the cost down, right? So that they can scale their campaigns. And that's really how it started. So Tyler, a couple of weeks, he's responding to social media comments, and he's like, Dad, you don't realize, like, there's more comments that I can never respond to all these comments. You don't understand. And we really didn't understand, because it's not like there's a counter, like when you log into Facebook, that tells you how many comments you have. And I said, well, what's your buddy Dan doing? He's a high school friend he had. We'll hire Dan too, he'll do it. So now I have Dan telling me, I can never keep up with this, And so that led to hiring 7 full-time employees just to respond to social media comments. And we couldn't keep up. That then led to hiring an additional team offshore or nearshore, Guatemala, and we had another 7 people. We had 16 people. Their full-time job was responding to social media comments. And we still weren't really keeping up. And we weren't doing a great job in terms of the quality of the response.
But they were also not responded on real time, like the moment the comment came in.
Absolutely. So let's say that someone sees an ad for a Branson mini vacation. It's Friday night, and let's say that the mom, the wife in the relationship is, she's scrolling on her phone. She sees the Facebook. Oh wow, this looks pretty cool. And so let's say she writes or makes a comment. Is the resort pet friendly? Or I have 3 kids. Is the unit big enough to accommodate myself, my husband, and our 3 kids? So she writes that comment right on the ad. But if nobody responds to that in real time, if that isn't responded till the following Monday, that person's gone. So we've lost that sale, right? Yeah. So it just got to be such a ridiculous burden and expense trying to keep up with this comment response. I went to our CTO, his name is Ezra. He's a brilliant, brilliant engineer. And I said, Ezra, there's got to be some solution that doesn't involve humans. We're an agency, right? We're a digital ad agency. We had more people on our comment response team than we had on our creative team. And that's when it occurred to me, this is ridiculous. This is
the expenses
this
must
is
have
totally
been,
absurd.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. So we went out and looked, and there are different tools that do they call them like decision tree or structured messages or structured replies. There's a lot of different tools out there, but they're very labor intensive to set up. They're very labor intensive to maintain. They didn't solve our problem, our high volume problem. They weren't scalable. And so I said to Ezra, I hear all this. This is, I think, in 2022. I said to Ezra, let's just build something. I know you're capable. We have an incredible development team. And so that gave birth to what was our debut product, Comment Responders. And so what Comment Responder does is, in real time, it looks at a social media post. It looks at a social media comment on that post. And in the brand's voice and tone, it instantly does the sentiment analysis. It determines, is this a negative comment, a positive comment? If it is negative, what is the target of that negative sentiment? But ultimately, the most important thing is it responds to the comment in real time with objective-driven purpose. And by objective-driven purpose, what I mean is if the objective is to get them to purchase a mini vacation or get them to phone in or get them to download an app or get them to fill out a lead form, the AI understands the objective and in a better than human way drives the user to that action. So that's how we started. We weren't trying to start a company. We were just trying to solve a problem.
On the stunning coast of Ecuador, something extraordinary awaits. The first registry collection project in South America. A destination where luxury meets nature. Where every sunset feels exclusive and every moment is designed to inspire. Welcome to Jama Kempe, where you always want to come back.
Well, in the world today, and you touched on that, where brands use thousands of digital touch points, what's actually happening behind the scenes that the executives don't see? I mean, you throw it to the medias, but there's got to be an effect, a push gets a pull and so forth. So all brands are using digital touch points. Everybody, but behind the scenes, something's got to go on that we don't see. Right?
I think that's a really good question. I would say a couple of things. When you say what don't the executives see? So I'm thinking when you ask that question, I'm thinking the C-level people, right? The C-suite. What don't they see? Number one, they don't see the brand damage that happens by not engaging in those conversations, because typically a brand, particularly when it comes to social media, but other channels too, they're either ignoring it because they had the same problem I had, which was it's very labor intensive. It's very difficult to scale up to the scale of just the volume of all the social media chatter. So a lot of brands just ignore it, or they try to keep up with it, but the teams that they hire to keep up with it, they may be human, but humans have bad days. Humans make mistakes. Humans aren't always in a good mood. Sometimes they call in sick, right? And so as a result, the human response isn't always necessarily the ultimate reflection of the brand voice. So that's the first thing, is there's just a lot of damage that can happen to the brand by not addressing all of this in real time. The second thing that I would say the C-suite doesn't really understand is how it impacts their cost to acquire a customer. And when I say a customer, it could be at sort of the top of the funnel when they're selling, let's say, a vacation package to a potential future timeshare owner, and they're just selling a mini vacation package, or even when the person's at the sales table on a tour and they're about to make a decision, but they go on their phone and they do a Google search and they see something unsavory. And so, not addressing the problem. I can tell you from our experience, when we implemented this AI solution, our cost to acquire a package purchaser, so a vacation package purchaser, literally overnight decreased 32%. That's significant. I actually have a lot of reasons to believe it's even greater. But without getting into all that nuance, I can tell you confidently, just responding to social media comments in real time decreased our cost per package on behalf of our clients by 32%.
That's amazing. But see, in the world of vacation ownership specifically, which has been my world for 30 years, reputation, trust is everything. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a person-to-person discussion, a person-to-person interaction still has a lot of value. So how does unmanaged digital engagement impact that long-term performance? Retention is important. Trust is important.
Yeah.
But when it's unmanaged, how does that affect that performance?
Yeah. So you that was a multi-part question. So the first thing I want to say is one of the interesting debates that we have when we talk to companies about implementing AI with respect to customer engagement is there's a lot of concern around how can I be sure that this is not going to negatively impact our brand voice, the integrity of our brand. If we're having just some flimsy AI answer a question and not a human, is that going to negatively impact our brand? And here's what I would tell you. First of all, it's a totally rational question, right? If I'm in the C-suite of some very important brand and someone were to come to me with, hey, we can use AI to handle customer engagement, I would be very skeptical. I'd be very concerned. I'd be probably scared. Like, there's a lot that could go wrong there.
Yep.
But what I will tell you is everything is knowledge-based driven, which simply means, so whatever the brand is, that brand probably has a branding guideline and nomenclature guide, right? That brand has already established what is their brand voice and tone. What are their branding guidelines? How do they talk to consumers? In some cases, they have those guidelines on a per-channel basis. We talk to our consumers on social media a certain way. Maybe we talk to them on the website in a certain way. But they already know what their voice is. Now, many of these brands employ big call centers,
Yes.
and this may be shocking to hear, but not every call center employee is necessarily living their ultimate career dream. So where is there more risk? Let me give you two scenarios. The first scenario is you have an AI that is never in a bad mood, doesn't have a mood, right? Follows the branding guidelines and nomenclature guide perfectly. It adopts the voice perfectly.
Doesn't get emotional.
It doesn't get emotional about it. It doesn't deviate from it. And it understands the objective. And when I say the objective, based on the entry point. So what is the entry point? The entry point could be somebody makes a comment on social media. The entry point could be a visitor to the website. Those are all different entry points. And the different entry points could have different objectives. But the AI never screws up. The AI never makes a mistake. Now, sometimes I'm asked, well, yeah, but doesn't AI sometimes hallucinate? And the answer is yes. However, we have a whole separate model that we developed. We call her Oddity. And Oddity audits any response that Chatty, which is our conversational AI, might make before it's actually posted public. And what Oddity audits specifically is this comment, is this response that the AI is about to make in real time, because all this happens in literally about 800 milliseconds, is this consistent with the brand voice and tone, and is it consistent with the objective of the campaign, and is it factual?
Yep.
And so if it passes Oddity, and about 94% of the time it does, then in real time
Gives you the
it
answer.
responds. And if it doesn't, it goes back, it says to Chatty, try again.
So, looking at it from a consumer or a new member at a resort or whatever it may be, the nightmare is when you phone somewhere and thank you for calling. If you're looking, these are the options: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Yeah.
says you wait. Then you hit 7, and then 7 says thank you for. So if your question is relevant to finance, phone it. Frustrating, like no to end.
Yeah.
If I understand you correct, is when somebody calls for a complaint, make a comment, or an issue, so they got a question, they're not looking for a relationship. They're not looking, how's your baby? They want an answer. They want a response. They want a solution to whatever they're asking about.
Yes.
And the AI is on truth, not wait till Monday till you respond. They will respond to you automatically.
Yep.
And that conversation can continue. It doesn't have to stop on one response,
that's
right?
the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. So I'll give you a scenario. So let's say that a brand has a social media post, and it might be a paid ad or it could be an organic post, but whatever. It's some kind of social media post. So that then generates a comment from a user. So Chatty, the AI, will publicly respond to that comment. That provides positive social proof. It also hides the negativity. So if somebody says, something, timeshare is a scam, don't do it, or just something negative or stupid.
Something of no value, just a
Something
comment,
of no value, doesn't
negative
support
value.
the objective.
Yeah.
It just hides the comment. But meantime, the AI sends a direct message to the user, because once they make a comment on the post, that gives the permission for the AI to then send a direct message. Now we've got a messenger conversation going on. So now, and I'll use the mini vacation example just as an example. This applies to a zillion examples. So now I'm having a conversation with you. The AI is having a conversation with you in Messenger. Hey, when are you thinking of going to Orlando? Oh, you have 3 kids. You might want to upgrade to a larger unit. We have upgrades available. Isn't that great news? The base offers for a 3-night vacation stay, but we actually have additional nights available. Hey, Gaetan, I'm gonna drop a link here for you with some custom deals for you. You click that link. Now it takes you to a landing page. Now you go to the landing page, the website, and guess what? Chatty's still there. Chatty is now on the website. So think of like web chat on steroids. Okay. So think of like you're not waiting for a live human. We've all dealt with that frustration. You're not dealing with some dumb chat bot that can only answer very specific questions. And as soon as your nuance goes outside of that, it gets stuck. Imagine having this super intelligence where when you arrive on the landing page, first of all, it remembers your social media comment. It remembers the conversation that you were having in direct message, and it picks up that conversation on the website. And so now maybe at this point it drives you a little further. Maybe you're not ready to make a purchase, but at least gets you to opt in.
Yes.
So now you've opted in. Now we have your name, your phone number, your email, your marketing consent. And so now you go into whatever the brand has for a lead nurture journey. You're now dropped into that. But here's the difference. Let's say part of that journey is, okay, think about journey building. I hate journey building. I've been a direct marketer my entire adult life. I hate journey building. It's a pain in the butt. So journey building is typically like this. Okay, day 3, if the CRM event has not changed and it's still unable to contact, send this text message or send this email. Okay. And typically if we send a text message, that text message is like a one-way blast. It's like, hey, Gaetan, don't forget about this deal. Either call us or go to this link. But imagine if instead that text message asked you a question. Like, hey, Gaetan, we were chatting the other day and maybe you were skeptical about this deal, but if you actually knew that this 3-night vacation in Orlando for $99 was real, would you start packing your bags? Well, most marketers, most brands can't send a text message like that because they don't have the teams on standby to respond to your reply. That's where AI comes in. That's where Chatty comes in. Because you might say something like, yeah, maybe, but I'm sure this is a scam. And that's where Chatty says, well, actually, it's not. Actually, all this requires is a 90-minute a tour of the resort, and the rest of the vacation is yours to enjoy. The point is, now she's engaging you.
Yep.
Now she's drawing you in because you're having a conversation. And to be able to replicate that with humans would be so cost prohibitive and so unreliable in terms of messaging. It doesn't work. And that's why AI has changed everything.
Well, just to finish off, because our time is almost over, but leaders, how should they start thinking in a business, in an industry especially, where relationships are so important? And that's why we're all here at events like this. How do they balance automation with human connection in an industry we need to see face to face? So where's that balance? Like, you get a leader that, let's say, has a news AI, has a news any of these platforms, still old school, starting to realize falling behind the 8 ball, because if you're not responding to your comments, you're definitely going behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So where's that balance?
Well, I think the first question is, what are we trying to improve? I think, so, in our industry, in vacation ownership, what do I hear most as an agency? Jason, we want more tours. Okay. But getting a tour is the culmination of lots of micro conversions.
Yes.
Right? So to get a tour, you have to get a person that purchases a vacation package, let's say. But to get a person that purchases a vacation package, we have to get them to respond to an ad. And when they respond to an ad, we have to get them to then opt in. And then once they've opted in, we have to get them to make the purchase. There's so many micro sort of conversions that lead up to what developer wants, or that C-suite wants, which is, I want a good tour. So I think the first thing is like understanding what are those micro conversions we're trying to improve. And then when you get a little more clinical about it like that, we're trying to improve these 9 things or these 13 things, then it's like, okay, can AI amplify, improve our, is there a use case there for AI? And by the way, there, in almost every case there is, but I think we get so worried about the whole, what is AI doing to human connection, all that stuff. I'm actually super optimistic about it. I totally understand the fear. I understand the concern, but I will tell you that when you don't try to boil the ocean, when you just look at very specific use cases. Okay, we're trying to improve the travel rate of people that purchased open dated vacation packages. That's a very specific use case. How can AI help? Well, right now we're sending emails and we're calling people and we're sending text messages trying to get them to book their vacation packages. Imagine if you send out 10,000 text messages, imagine if you could have, because of AI, 10,000 autonomous one-to-one conversations, concierge style, helping all those people book those vacation packages.
At the same time.
At the same time.
It's amazing.
That's where we are.
You know, I learn so much every time I talk to you because you've got into a world, and I remember you were speaking at an event, I think it might have been Cancun recently, and you said you're getting kind of bored, and you're kind of, been at it for 30 years, and you just, AI woke up, I
Yes.
felt energized, I'm passionate again, so
Yes.
thank you so much for your time. You know what, it's always a great discussion together, and,
Oh.
and I'm sure everybody will agree that if you haven't met Jason yet, it's a treat to meet him, and one of these events. But if you got any questions when it comes to the AI, the technology, interaction, ChatGPT, all phenomenal things, please leave a comment below. We'll be glad to get back to you. In the meantime, safe travel. It's great being with you again, and we'll see you on the next podcast. This episode is brought to you by Hamakampai, the first vacation ownership project on the northern coast of Ecuador.